Hello, women of the Channel Leadership Network. I'm Jackie Rives, your community leader, and welcome to another Woman of the Week. This week, I'm excited to introduce you to one of our very active community members, Hannah Long, account executive for Climb Channel Solutions. Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm excited to get to know you better. I see your name all the time popping up, so this is going to be great. If you don't mind sharing with the community where you live and where you grew up, if that's different.
Yeah, so I live in Denver, and I'm actually one of the few Colorado natives born and raised here. I've done quite a bit of traveling, but Colorado's always been home.
I love Colorado.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful state. I'm sure that's, like you said, one of the few true natives, like everybody wants to move there.
Yeah.
Um, all right. What is a little known fact about you that you don't mind sharing with, a few thousand of our closest friends here?
Yeah, so I hit 21 countries before I turned 21. So that was a huge
Wow.
goal, and probably one of the most unique experiences was I said yes to an on-the-spot opportunity and got to speak at La Sagrada Familia. So it's like the biggest cathedral in Spain.
Wow, that is amazing. I,
Yeah.
I think you're a first that I've met that has done that.
Yeah, it was me and my friend just happened to go on a day that was an international mass, and they asked if anybody was willing to speak in English. And my only stipulation was that I got to read what I said before I got up. I didn't want to go up there and say something else. But so it ended up speaking in front of like 6,000 people there. So it was really awesome.
That is pretty cool. And so
Mhm.
is how many countries you visited before you were 21. That's crazy.
Mhm.
Um, Very awesome. Those are some goals. All right. Well, I'm so stunned and I want to ask you more questions about this, but let's move on to professional. Have you ever questioned your abilities or qualifications? And if so, how did you overcome or deal with that challenge?
Yeah, I think my first initial reaction was when we were even talking about this interview was, oh no, but I'm not a VP or a director level. Like, who's going to want to hear my perspective? Um, but I think it's also fair to say we've all felt that way no matter where we are. And I think I'll continue to feel that way, even if I was a director level. So I think it was just important to understand that I come with a whole different set of stories and background from anybody else, and that's worth sharing. I think we've also all been in a meeting where we're like, oh, they're missing one perspective, and maybe that is your perspective. So I think it's just important to remind yourself that like we each have our own story and things we bring to the table that are just ours. So I don't think it's ever going to go away, but just to try to combat that.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more. Having those different perspectives are so important. Even for me, like one of the best seasons of my life has been my daughters, who are 20, one's going to be 25 this Saturday, and the other one's 20. Just getting their perspectives and them challenging the way that I think. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, for sure, we're always going to, especially when we're stretching, growing, and learning, we're always going to be in those positions where we're like questioning ourselves. And um, I try to remind myself that that's probably a growth opportunity.
Yeah.
So I couldn't agree with you more. Okay, so how do you differentiate yourself?
I think something I've tried to really focus on right now, I'm at a smaller company, there's about 300 of us, but before I was at a company with thousands of people, it's to network internally and build those
Mm,
relationships inside the company. I think so many times people focus on making those relationships with customers and vendors and so forth, but those people internally really hold a lot of value, and growing those relationships, knowing those people not only help you, but also help better fit together all the puzzle pieces that is the tech industry. So I think that's been really beneficial. It's really getting to know people in your organization, and also when opportunities come up, those are the best people to advocate for you.
that is really good advice, and I do love that you use that as your example for differentiating yourself. So often you're right. We do focus on those external relationships, But the people internally are, the ones that are going to help you be more efficient. And like you said, be able to
Hmm.
advocate for you when you're not in the room. So that's great advice and insights for our
Yeah.
listeners.
And it always makes it better if you enjoy working with the people you're with.
Yes, that would definitely be the icing on the cake for sure. But like you said, I mean, when you're building those relationships, you discover new things about people that you didn't know otherwise, which then, enhances those connections. So
Yeah.
just great insights. Awesome. All right. So, what advice would you give to managers onboarding new employees in the channel?
Yeah,
Love
so
this
I've been in the
question.
channel for about like 2 years. So came from a
Hmm.
completely different industry. I was in construction, so it was a whole 180. And just getting into the tech world, there's so much to learn and a million acronyms for anything and everything. So I would say mentorship is huge. And we do that through Women of the Channel, what I love, but then also just within your company, formal or informal, just having somebody help pave the path for you and like learning things. I remember at one of the Women of the Channel conferences, somebody said, make sure you send the elevator back down. So I think just bringing those people back up with you is just so valuable, and knowing that there's people that have gone through this and here's how what helped them before.
Oh, I love that. Send the elevator back down. I've never heard that before. That's a really good way to say it. And I love your advice here on educating for the channel because I know for me, when I moved into the channel, I was in my 40s, like different tech careers and army background, and I had no idea what this mysterious channel was. And it
Yeah.
took me a long time to really figure it out because I wasn't really getting a straight answer. And I'm like, what is this? But yes,
Hmm.
once you're in and you understand, it is definitely a magical place of connections for sure.
Yeah. And so much of it is based on networking. So I think the more connections that people new to the channel can make, the better it is for that. And there's so much to learn. And so if people who have had experience are willing to share it, I think people are so happy to soak it up.
I love it. That is such great advice. Hannah, thank you so much for spending some time with us today, allowing us to get to know you better and celebrate you as a Woman of the Week, and just my own heartfelt appreciation for all the ways that you invest in our community members as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be a part of the community.
Well, we are thrilled to be celebrating you this week. So there you have it, community members. Please feel free to comment, um, give Hannah high fives, and celebrate her and share your insights because that is what we're here for, to invest in one another. So until next time, happy Wednesday.